Hey guys, if you saw my hopefully last video if I uploaded it, I'm currently finishing editing it a little bit. I'm still pretty sick, so I sound kind of dead in that video. Partially because I filmed it over like the course of a couple hours because I tried so hard to make it accessible, but I just gave up halfway through. Whatever, it's not important. But I'm gonna do the second part, which is the second area. This is far easier in pretty much any way, in every way. Sorry. Um, and hopefully the modifiers are not insane like they were in the last phase. But if they are, we'll just manage it. Anyways, I'm hoping that I can do this in one take, but I might need to edit it again. But either way, this should be at least somewhat helpful for multiple people. And I'm just going to show you guys the best way to do it. So this fight, with most of these stages, you need one really strong AoE mage. You can use Vierna, Boreas, Comet. I used Praetus when I fought on someone else's account. I still need to upload that, but I just haven't had time to. I'm going to do it after my normal Void Rift runs. But anyways, so what I like to do in this stage, personally, is like to do one AoE mage. I'll use Vierna, because I don't really want to use Boreas. And then you just want some strong single targets. I think what I will use is probably, I'll probably just use Silas maybe. Or I guess I could go with someone like Greed as well. I'm not sure. But I think I'll just go with Hex actually. Hex is pretty cool. And then maybe I'll go with Nocturne just to prove a point. And then what you want to do is you want tanks. You want at least 2 tanks, ideally. I do like Baron, and I do like Oleg a lot. Brokir is obviously better, but it's not a big difference. And then you could either do Hollow or Vortex. I don't think it matters which one you use. And I would honestly use another DPS. I guess I'll cave and use Greed, because I do like Greed a lot. Greed is pretty cool. Definitely someone I really enjoy using. I guess we'll use this, and then stat-wise, I should have better gear, but I mean, I don't think it matters too much. This is a pretty easy stage. Let's just go into it. Also, I think Nocturne has some really terrible gear too. Hex and Vierna don't have good gear either, but once again, proving a point here that you don't need to use Silas for these stages. Anyways, the skeleton will split, so you really want to do high damage to it as soon as possible. I will put Hex down, and then I will put, I guess, Nocturne down. I'm just kind of YOLOing it, honestly, at this point. As you can see, damage to the skeletons is pretty high, and now when it splits, not a big deal. And then I will probably put my Greed here. I'm going to put Hollow on this square just to help with the ult generation. But before that, I really need to put down Vierna. I probably shouldn't have put down Greed yet. Vierna might struggle a little bit to kill the skeletons, but it should be okay. Some weeks, there will be a modifier where the skeletons will have a lot more HP, and that can be a little bit of an issue. But this week, it's more damage on those tanky guys, which you will see right now. These guys have more HP, which can be a pretty big issue, once again, but hopefully we'll be okay. I think I might need to double healer this. And then on this side, I'm going to Vierna, and our execute will come in clutch, and we should be good. Anyways, we're going to do another healer just to keep it going. We're going to pop our ultimates, double healer it, because if we don't double healer it, we will die. And I will be double ulting because we do have Hollow to help with accumulating our ults, and also these very tanky units are really threatening. I'm pretty sure they take less damage this week and they deal more damage, so that's very scary. If I had Silas, I would be able to clear these mages very easily, but as you can see, it's not a big deal. Vierna, as we saw earlier, can actually solo the bottom, so we're kind of chilling over there. There are a lot of AoE mages that will deal with these guys, and some single target units as well that'll do just fine. You could also, I'm not sure if you could place ground units on the bottom, but if you can, you should be good, but once again, not really sure. Anyways, we're gonna wait for the skeletons to walk again, and the top is fine, before we ultimate on the bottom, just so that we can accumulate some extra damage. But as you can see, even with a broken set, although we do have some pretty decent stats, it's pretty easy to clear the bottom. I probably should have ulted on the top slightly earlier, but we're gonna be okay. We do want to clear this group as fast as possible because, as you can see, more of these tanky units, which are very, very scary, very threatening, as I keep saying. Our Baron just got his Unyielding triggered, and I am honestly kind of scared. Uh, Um, Not sure if we'll be okay. Looks like we will be, barely. So it turns out that the 3 DPS approach is actually good. Um, Definitely a good thing to know. We did almost lose, but because we brought 2 healers just in case, and Vienna was able to solo the bottom, we're completely fine. We'll be okay. Anyways, that's the first stage done. I will say this rotation pretty easy past the first area, so I'm definitely not worried about the later stages, but they could still be a little threatening at times if you don't have answers to them. But I'm pretty sure no matter what your account looks like, you should be good. Here are the stats. Obviously, lots of damage from our main DPS. Nocturne doesn't have like any gear on him, neither does Greed, so that's why they didn't really do any damage, but it's fine. I don't really feel like swapping my gear sets again, as I did over and over for the previous the previous stage or whatever, and it was very rough. So, as you can see here, if you're affected by Ludwig's life leeching, I don't know what that is. They get removed immediately. That sounds really bad. For this stage, I just like to tank the top, and then I stack the bottom, because why not? But for this one, I think what I'll use is a ranged DPS, a tank, maybe another tank, because why not? And then I'll use single target once again, healer. I guess I should probably use something like, I could use Idril, maybe I'll put Dolores in, and I'm just going to use another single target because I feel like it, and then probably Vierna for AoE DPS. I'm not sure if everyone here is geared right, but whatever, I'm lazy. Anyways, I will probably put Arrogance there just to help deal with the top. And then I will also aim Hex at the top later on. I know for a fact that this guy will cage you, so you're going to really struggle, so I gotta put him down. And then I'll put Olog. Maybe I should have put Hex first, I'm not sure, but we should hopefully be okay. If we're not okay, I will need to restart, and we're not. So instead, what I'm just going to do is Olog followed by probably Hex like this, and then afterwards I might put either Silas or Vierna down, facing downwards probably, so that these two are able to cover each other's bases, so that they don't get attacked again by these cages. And then we're going to ult with Hex just to deal with that very scary mob at the top, and then we'll put down our healer. Our healer is covered by Hex, so we should be okay. And Hollow is very good for rage regen, so it's definitely nice to have. I might put Arrogance at the top again, but I will put Vierna here instead. So what you want to do in this stage, something very important to remember, is you never want to have an opportunity for this guy to kill off your units because you place them wrong. So that's very easy, good to remember. I should have put Baron at the bottom, but I forgot, so instead I will be Silas ulting and then putting Baron immediately after. As you can see, the cage gets immediately destroyed, which is very nice, and we can hollow ult again because we already have another one. Dolores I just brought because I didn't want to bring another legendary, and I don't really have many good epic single target options because I refuse to build a Mani. I don't really have the resources for it anyways, so not a big deal. Anyways, as you can see right there, Hex is able to shoot that tentacle, and Arrogance can also do it too in his ultimate, but that's less important. And at the bottom, pretty sure Silas is able to attack the ones that come up at the bottom. And even if they don't, you could always aim Vierna down and it would be okay. Oh, never mind, they come from the side. So Vierna can actually cover this guy and kill that one. You don't really want to let those live, although sometimes there will be modifiers where those things actually cannot die. Those modifiers are a little bit scary, but for the most part it should be okay. We're just going to keep cycling our ultimates to deal with these mobs, and it's a pretty easy time. Definitely far easier than the other phase, and the third phase also not that hard either. But anyways, once again, deal with the tentacles. It's a little hard to commentate this because I feel like there's not much to talk about. It's an easy stage. Like, just put stuff down, make sure that you're not letting them die to dumb circumstances, and pop your ults when you can. I will say Hollow's very good because of her constant ults, but we all knew that. Hollow's always been good. Um, Hopefully Hex can kill this guy fast so that I don't take up much of your guys' time. And there we go. That's a win. Pretty easy stage. Easy claps. Obviously single targets are going to be great against those really high defense enemies. I mean, not defense, high HP enemies. So just keep that in mind. And we just kind of grab our stuff. Definitely a lot more of an easy video to record than the last one. The last one was incredibly difficult to do. I will just kind of auto-fight this and just talk a little bit. I guess you could think of this as an interlude. I'm just gonna talk about random stuff that comes to mind. Um, I've been recently rewatching a couple TV shows, which I just remember enjoying in the past. Uh, I'm currently rewatching Brooklyn Nine-Nine, if you guys have seen it. It's like the only cop show I will willingly sorry, I can't talk. It's the only cop show I will willingly watch, purely because it's just more of a comedy type of thing than an actual cop show. I really hate those types of cop shows that take themselves seriously. If you enjoy those, that's okay. But I find them kind of annoying, so I definitely enjoy a lot more of a lighter tone. I really like the character development in the show. It's a pretty long one. I'm only in season 3 right now. I have finished it before, except actually the final part of the final season. I've never watched that, so I'm definitely excited to see what's there. But just check it out. It's from the makers of The Office, the US version, which I also really enjoyed. Boreas is overpowered. We know that already. Let's just move on. Anyways, watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Maybe I'll have some other movie TV show recommendations in the future, if you are one of the very few people who actually watches these parts. But anyways, we're about to go on the fight before the boss. This one is actually kind of tough. I do not like this one. It's very difficult. The skeletons have more max HP is really bad. Vierna might not actually cut it. I do think that potentially this team will work, although I'm not entirely sure. I would like to bring maybe another DPS. I guess I could bring Idril instead of Dolores. I'm not sure. The name of the game on this one is keeping everyone alive, so actually I know I need 2 healers. As you can tell, I have not really scripted anything out, and I'm very sleep deprived, so that's why I'm stuttering a lot. Anyways, the really bad part of the stage is definitely the tentacles. Some in the past I've like faced platform units backwards. I've put down melee units. I know for a fact you need 2 healers, you need 2 tanks, and you need at least 2 DPS, preferably 3. Hopefully this will be okay. Editing me here, it did not go okay. I had to tweak it a lot, so I'm actually going to get rid of Hex, which I was using as my secondary single target, which I would have loved to do. But then I was having really a lot of issues with the tentacles, and I needed 2 mages for the bottom because the modifiers this week made it way too hard to just use one. So I Embry and Boreas, but literally any other AoE mage will work. Just ideally you want 2. Anyways, what I like to do is I like to put Olak first, and then I like to put Baron. Just Baron to build up his ultimate, and then you put Vortex down after. but you can place Vortex before Baron if you would like to. It's not a big deal. This just makes it so that you don't proc the Unyielding too early. Though I do end up triggering it, but it's not a big deal. Though I do play Silas pretty fast. He's going to be our main damage. You could use anything for this. Any single target would be great. Just try your best. And for the bottom, I love doing one mage and a healer at the bottom. But for this week, I wasn't actually able to do it that way, so I'm bringing two mages. And I'm just going to be hoping that Boreas doesn't instantly die. The reason why you want a healer is because at the top, you see those mages. Those will actually kill your mage if they're standing on the square that Boreas is standing on. So he's going to die pretty easily, or pretty fast. Also, as you can see with the tentacles, you kind of want to bring two ground units, or maybe another platform unit. I probably could have put someone by the platforms aiming where Arrogance is right now, and that would have been okay. I have done that in past weeks, but I just figured I would bring some fighters this time. And it ended up working, so it's fine. Though this is, once again, a hard modifier week, unfortunately, for this phase, so it could be a little bit difficult. But just remember that a lot of the time, it will actually be easier. The skeletons, once again, are coming out to try to ruin my day, once again. I usually do use just Vierna for this stage, for the bottom, but once again, didn't work this week. And Boreas is gonna die here to the mages, because the mages are very annoying. And hopefully Vierna will be okay. I know that Vierna is obviously going to be okay because this is a successful run, but it's very stressful. She doesn't look like she gives out enough damage for it, but I think she does. Anyways, the tentacles are continuously spawning. The second those hit you, unless it is the modifier where they deal less damage and they can't get hit, if it's not a week where it does that, you will instantly die if those hit you, so you have to be very careful. You have to kind of plan around it if you can. It's just a very important thing to watch out for, so you just gotta be careful. Also, we beat that stage pretty easily. You just want your single target, generally just one mage with a healer at the bottom, or two mages if you're struggling. Anyways, we're gonna move on to the boss. The boss is actually pretty difficult too. The previous stage was a bit harder, but this week's restrictions with the tankier mobs, and then the tentacles being a big deal. Usually the tentacles deal less damage and can't be hit, which is a far easier modifier than usual. Whenever it's like that, it's pretty easy, but whatever. Anyways, let's get into this fight. Okay, so this is a team that I ended up assembling for this fight. I didn't get to beat it first try, but whatever. So what I like to do first is Olog at the top, because that's, I'm pretty sure, where most of the high damaging mobs will go. And then I put Vortex down later. I did try it with Hollow. I think Hollow works fine there, but I just like Vortex for his shields, just in case you struggle with the tentacles. Especially if it's the modifier where they deal less damage but can't be hit, you really want Vortex there. But it's okay. Anyways, you want to put down your tank at the bottom, and also, as you could probably see at the top with my single targets, you do want to have two single target, ideally, and you want to place them similar to that, partially so that Silas, for example, can hit the tentacles at the top when those come, and then Hex can hit the units at the bottom, and they also cover everyone. So you want to have everyone's range, kind of cover everyone at the same time so that none of them get caught by the cages and die. That's very, very important. You really don't want that to happen because you can lose very easily the second that happens. And I do use Boreas for skeleton damage. You could use anything else. There was no HP modifier, so as you saw, they died very easily. Worst case, you could put an AoE mage where I put Boreas, and then you can aim Vierna to the left or down or something, and then use her ultimate to kill the rest of the skeletons. But I was having a little bit of issues with the tentacles, so that's why I end up putting Vienna down there specifically. And then you just gotta be careful of your tanks. Just keep trying to cycle your ultimates and make sure your tanks don't actually die. If they die, it can be a bit of an issue, but it's fine. The good thing about this stage, though, is it's a very flexible one, so you're never really going to have issues with characters. You're never really going to have those problems. I know I am using some pretty strong units, but as long as you just kind of keep the guideline or whatever, you're just going to be fine. I know Boris is kind of tanking the boss right now, like he's killing the boss, but the boss gets killed pretty easily. This is not a hard stage. I was just kind of having to tweak a little bit of the strategy purely to deal with the tentacles. The tentacles are really the hardest part. Just remember the tentacle at the bottom will not actually hit anyone that's on the top half of those platforms. So currently that bottom tentacle will only hit where Vienna was, and then at the top your DPS should be able to kill the one at top. Or if they're struggling, just pop Vortex ult and you should be okay. I just kind of pop my ultimates right now and we just win. That's about it. That's the boss fight. Overall pretty easy. The second phase is one of the easier phases of Void Rift, especially Nightmare. It was really nice that we had a Star Piercer, which is, it's basically the Piercer faction bonus. So that was very nice, especially because they're very good for this phase. But even if you don't have the bonus, you could pretty much beat all the stages the same. We get our free Ancient. I like to claim all my rewards incrementally just to see if I get any Ancient gear, but whatever, it's fine. Anyways, that's about it for this phase. I don't really have anything else to add. Hopefully this helped. I should have part 3 coming out either today or tomorrow. Hopefully today. I'm not sure. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. That's about it for me. Bye bye.